Let's watch some Audit the Audit. We haven't watched Audit the Audit in a while.
Welcome to Audit the Audit,
pescatarians
where
fish.
we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers jaywalking, identifications, and pretextual stops, and is brought to us by James Madison Audits' channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we dive into the interaction, I want to give a big thanks to the sponsor of this episode, Raycon, the most...
Hey, go to, I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't think I'm allowed to say that during a factor sponsorship. Am I? I don't think it matters. Here's the code anyway. I just won't say it. I'll just leave it up there for you guys. Unpopular opinion, I don't like Raycon earbuds. I mean, no comment.
Sergeant Jeremy Bird of the Port Orange Police Department in Florida received a text message from Officer Andre Fleming informing him that City Councilman Drew Bastian had called.
What is that build? Like, what is this head build? This looks like a randomizer in a character creation thing. Yo, why he look like that?
Him to report seeing an individual dressed in quote-unquote all black trying to film over a wall located on the perimeter of the Port Orange Police Department. According to his police report, Sergeant Bird sent Officer Preston, Officer Yovanovich, and Acting Sergeant Kurtz to attempt to locate the quote-unquote subject, who was later identified as James Newmeyer, a local citizen who had visited the police department to attempt to file an officer complaint. Somehow, the responding officers came to believe that Mr. Newmeyer was reported as trying to climb over the wall, and the interaction that followed was captured on body camera.
Somebody's supposedly climbing our wall with a mask on over here.
Put the mask on?
Andre called it in.
Where did the mask come from?
Yeah, over here. Somewhere on this wall on Clyde, he said. Andre called it in. See anything?
Batman?
The guy walking on the sidewalk, he has a mask on.
In black?
Black pants, black shirt, Caucasian.
Okay.
So not only that, but he has black pants, black shirt, and a mask. Let's see if that checks
the guy
out.
He was saying was trying to climb our wall there, because Andre saw it. So 12 to 15. Go ahead. Hey, I guess he's walking southbound on Clyde, next to the PD now, dressed all in black. Supposedly he's walking down this way.
He's walking north.
So.
Batman.
Hello.
We kill
Hey, were you trying
the Batman.
to come over our wall here?
Hell no. What, I look stupid?
No? We'll get you for 1 second, because we had a call of a guy dressed in black that was climbing up on one of our walls there.
Where's the mask?
Oh no, ain't you guys got cameras?
Uh-huh. Do you have an ID card with you? I'll call Fleming. Hey, Sarge. Can you call Fleming? Who messaged? Where did Fleming mess? Who did he message? What's that? Was that you?
Yeah.
Well, we're out with the guy dressed in black that's running right along here, so.
He said he had a citizen call.
Oh, so he didn't see it?
No, he didn't.
Jesus Christ.
All right, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go to court next week.
All right. Well, great. I thought he saw.
Oh, he's doing it like that.
Yeah. All right.
He's refusing to give his name or any information.
Hey, I don't like cops. I don't talk to cops. I don't deal with
Okay.
cops. I was minding my business, looking at my phone, walking down
He
the
stated to
sidewalk,
me-
and I was stopped.
Freely, he stated to me that he was inside the lobby trying to make an officer complaint.
Okay.
Figured out it was closed, so he left the office, or I'm sorry, the lobby, and came onto the road. I'm sorry, the sidewalk and came this way. So he was trying to make a complaint, but
Okay. Well,
I can help you with that.
no, you can't.
Yeah, I can.
No, you can't. I'll be here Monday through Friday during business hours.
Yeah, you can't. You can't give a complaint to a cop about another cop. He's not gonna do anything about that.
The supervisor.
I am the supervisor.
I don't care.
Well, that's. If you want to make an officer complaint, I'm the guy to talk
Put
to.
it in writing. You ain't gonna do nothing. You protect the
Sir,
blue
he's a
line.
sergeant.
That's true.
I don't care.
Okay, I need subtitles. I can barely hear this guy.
Blue line brothers. He ain't do.
Say what?
I said you protect your blue line brothers. You ain't gonna do
Based on what?
based on
I mean,
police. That's what's
true.
based on.
You don't know
Based
me.
on every,
He's
I don't
spitting.
know you. You're a blue line. That's all you are to me. You don't give a damn about nobody but your other blue line people.
So we're
Okay.
trying to.
All right.
You ain't trying to help me. Right now you're harassing me on the side of the road. Am I being detained or am I free to leave?
You're free to go.
Thank you. Oh, y'all.
Get him! Get him!
Eye on him as he... Look up. He's wearing an auto shirt. See if anything happened.
Oh, we
there.
have. Oh, this guy?
Yeah, because we don't even have an ID. We don't have any.
He wouldn't give ID.
No. But he's wearing an shirt, so we can probably figure out who he is.
But is that even legal? Now they're going after his workplace, like trying to figure out who he is. If he's free to go, then what the fuck? Yeah, leave the guy alone. Are you really that petty? Oh, what am I talking about? Of course he is. Of course he is. He walked away and said, fuck all y'all. So yeah, he's definitely petty.
Do you know if he's parked in the front parking lot or anything like that?
I don't know. You want to go? Preston.
What? Why? He's free to go. What do you... What?
Go to the... See if he's got a tag on the car in the parking lot.
What are you gonna do? I don't understand.
Now you're detained for jaywalking. Running across...
Bro, what? Jaywalking? Oh my god. No. No fucking way, dude. Jaywalking. Really? That's who you're gonna get him with? Wow.
Clyde Morris like that.
How else am I going to cross?
That's what crosswalks are for.
There isn't a crosswalk within 150 feet. I know you cross at
Well,
a
now you're
90-degree
detained.
angle when there's no crosswalks within 150 feet.
You're detained.
Oh, he knows his shit. Hold up. He knows his shit.
You're illegally detaining me.
And now you have to identify yourself.
No, I don't. I want a supervisor.
I am the
I
supervisor.
want your supervisor. I didn't do anything wrong. I committed no crimes. I am not giving you my ID.
Sergeant Byrd tells Mr. Newmeyer that he must give identification because he is being detained for jaywalking, and Mr. Newmeyer refuses. The term jaywalking is not used in the Florida statutes, and Section 316.130 of the Florida statutes, which outlines pedestrian traffic regulations, actually allows pedestrians to cross a roadway outside of a crosswalk as long as they use, now quoting, a route at right angles to the curb or by the shortest route to the opposite curb.
Is that right?
An exception to this general rule, as the statute does prohibit pedestrians from crossing at any place except a marked crosswalk between adjacent intersections at which traffic signals are in operation. The statute also requires every pedestrian crossing a roadway at any point other than a crosswalk to yield the right-of-way to all vehicles upon the roadway. A review of the Google Maps Street View confirms that Mr. Newmeyer did not cross the street between...
But honestly, regardless, if you are detaining someone for jaywalking, like, honestly, giving anyone anything for jaywalking is just, you want a reason. That's it. That's the only reason you would ever go after someone for jaywalking. Unless they're like playing chicken in the road or some shit, right?
in adjacent intersections at which traffic lights were in operation. So, in order to lawfully detain Mr. Newmeyer on suspicion of jaywalking, Sergeant Byrd would need to have reason to believe that Mr. Newmeyer failed to yield the right-of-way to vehicles on the roadway. In his police
Playing chicken. Okay, so I was right.
report, Sergeant Byrd stated that he drove out of the police department and was traveling south when he saw Mr. Newmeyer crossing the street. Sergeant Byrd wrote, quote, "As I was approaching, I slowed my speed at an estimated distance of 30 to 40 yards as it was dusk and I could not see him well in an effort not to strike him. However, Sergeant Byrd's body camera footage does not capture Mr. Newmeyer crossing the
We just see him on the sidewalk.
road and shows that Sergeant Byrd made several U-turns before stopping Mr. Newmeyer. I cannot tell for certain from the footage whether Sergeant Byrd had to slow his vehicle to avoid hitting Mr. Newmeyer, but Sergeant Byrd's body camera did not capture any evidence that supports the theory that Mr. Newmeyer failed to yield the right-of-way to vehicles in the road. And as to whether Mr. Newmeyer was required to identify himself, according to Section 901.151 of the Florida statutes, which codifies the so-called Florida Stop and Frisk Law, quote, whenever any law enforcement officer encounters any person under circumstances which reasonably indicate that such person has committed, is committing, or is about to commit a violation of the criminal laws of this state or the criminal ordinances of any municipality or county, the officer may temporarily detain such person for the purpose of ascertaining the identity of the person temporarily detained and the circumstances surrounding the person's presence abroad, which led the officer to believe that the person had committed, was committing, or was about to commit a criminal offense.
But he
now,
wasn't,
although the
though.
statute states that officers must have reasonable suspicion
Wait,
that...
Florida got stop and frisk too? Damn, you're all fucked down there? Wait, I thought Florida was like the stop and frisk thing. Where else is stop and frisk? I thought that's where it was like known.
An individual violated a criminal
else?
law, and violations of Section 316.130 are considered non-criminal traffic infractions.
New
The
York?
U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Florida held
Oh,
in the
really?
2008 case of Copeland versus Bradenton Police Department that an officer was justified under the...
All right, this is jaywalking. I'm gonna skip forward to this.
Officers could require him to identify himself.
Jaywalking is a traffic infraction.
Not resisting. Smart. Got rid of it, but it's famously bad.
Jaywalking is a traffic infraction
I didn't jaywalk.
for which you are lawfully detained.
I didn't jaywalk.
Actually,
You're unlawfully detaining me. I did not jaywalk.
I actually saw you myself,
No,
so-
yes, I understand that.
I'll
You're
saw you
allo-
for- I'll saw you
you
for the
are
parking lot
allowed
over
to
here.
cross the street if there is not an intersection within 150 feet. You're allowed to
Not
cross
with
the
traffic
street
coming.
at a 90-degree angle. There was no traffic
There's a
coming.
lot of
You were
traffic.
the closest traffic, and you were far enough away for me to make it safely. You guys just want to ID me illegally, so go ahead if that's really what you want
Dude,
to do.
how many cops do you need for jaywalking? Dude, they got the whole fucking posse there, bro. They got old man Jenkins too. Like, holy shit. Really? You're that petty? You're that fucking bored? We need backup. A dude was jaywalking. Hurry.
Take my wallet because Terry v. Ohio says you're not allowed to dig into my pockets without a reason. So if you really want to have a lawsuit filed against you, go ahead. I will sue you.
Get him.
All right, so
I got him.
if you don't identify yourself,
Go ahead, take my wallet. It's right
You will
there.
be- you
Take
will
my
be
wallet
under
out of my
arrest.
pocket.
okay.
I'm telling you, go ahead, take
Take
my
his-
wallet out of
take
my
his wallet.
pocket. That's illegal. You're breaking my
Oh my God.
rights right now. You're
Dude, I'm sorry. Like, I do kind of like sometimes when cops don't know the law because it gets themselves fucked in the situation like this. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I would love for cops to actually know the law a lot of times, but it is funny in situations like this where they don't know the law.
violating my rights. That's a violation. You're not allowed to go in my pockets and take my wallet without reasonable
You
suspicion.
just told us to.
No, I
just said that.
You're
You
threatening me with arrest. That's done under duress. You are threatening me with arrest.
That's correct, I am.
Sergeant Byrd claims that the officers took Mr. Neumeyer's identification
But will the cop get held accountable? Probably not.
with his consent, and Mr. Neumeyer argues that he only agreed under threat of arrest.
I mean, cops have gotten away with murder and like plenty of other things for, getting paid leave. So yeah, I really doubt they're going to get anything for this.
As we have discussed before on ATA, the Supreme Court stated in the 1991 case of Florida versus Bostic that, quote, even when officers have no basis for suspecting a particular individual, they may generally ask to examine the individual's identification, as long as the police do not convey a message that compliance with their requests is required. This means that when an officer requests to see an individual's identification, and the citizen voluntarily consents to the examination, there is no Fourth Amendment violation, even when the officer does not have the reasonable suspicion to non-consensually detain the citizen. However, as the Supreme Court explained in the 1973 case of Schneckloth versus Bustamante, quote, the Fourth and 14th Amendments require that a consent not be coerced by explicit or implicit means, by implied threat or covert force. For no matter how subtly the coercion was applied, the resulting consent would be no more than a pretext for the unjustified police intrusion against which the Fourth Amendment is directed. Applying this principle, the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida noted in the 2022 case of United States versus Chavez that, quote, where the threat of arrest is unjustified and amounts to a misrepresentation by a law enforcement officer, at least one court has determined that providing consent in exchange for avoiding arrest can render the consent involuntary. Now, in this situation, although Mr. Neumeyer did
Nah, I mean, that kind of sucks though, because he did it in a way of like, yeah, go ahead, see what happens if you do it. You know, he didn't do it in like a way of like, yeah, sure, that's fine. I feel like they're stretching this because he obviously didn't mean it that way. He meant it in a way of like, he said many, many, many times that he doesn't want them to get his ID. And then at the end, he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I dare you. Like, you're just going to get sued if you do it. But, you know, yeah, they'll catch him on anything. Yeah, good point. I feel like they're going to use that against him no matter what. You know, so that sucks, man.
Did tell the officers that they could take his identification. He only did so after he was threatened with arrest for failure to ID.
So
therefore,
maybe
if a court concluded that the officers did not have the reasonable suspicion necessary to detain and identify Mr. Newmeyer, it would likely also find...
Yeah, legally and morally, the dude is in the right, but will they actually side with the dude? No.
And that the threat of arrest was unjustified, making any consent received from Mr. Newmeyer involuntary.
No, you're not treating me with respect because you had no right to pull me over. You got no reason to be messing with me. You just heard somebody called and probably didn't call and said that somebody looked over your wall over there, and now y'all feel violated and you want to come punish somebody. So that's why we're here right now going through this.
Situation.
No, yeah, and you would have never said a damn word.
Go ahead and take the cuffs off.
True.
We'll cite him for jaywalking and he can move on.
And I want all your name and badge numbers.
See, they just wanted his ID so they could like ping him and make sure that they know where this guy is and keep an eye on him.
You have no legal right to detain me right now.
Okay.
You think I don't do this all the time? I know exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
You cannot write me a ticket for jaywalking if I'm over 150 feet away from a crosswalk. You know that. You're only doing this to force my ID. That's the only reason you're doing this, because you're a punk. You want to know my name, so you're going to get it one way or the other, no matter how you have to do it.
Dude, they would have gotten it one way or the other. They would have gotten at your job. They would have called up your workplace and figured out your name there. I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but they would have.
Tyrant.
I didn't make you run across the road.
You're a tyrant. You know what the laws are. You know I didn't break no laws.
I didn't make you run across the road.
You know I didn't break no laws.
Mr. Newmeyer argues that the officers only stopped him because they wanted to force him to identify himself.
There's 4 fucking cops. Yeah. Pretty certain, yeah.
As we have discussed before here on ATA, the Supreme Court has repeatedly stated that an officer's subjective motivations are irrelevant to the analysis of whether a seizure violates the Fourth Amendment. Instead, courts must determine whether a seizure is quote-unquote objectively reasonable under the totality of the circumstances. In this situation, this means that if a court concluded that the officers had objective, reasonable suspicion to believe that Mr. Newmeyer had committed a pedestrian violation, it would likely also find...
So like catching someone on a fucking technicality. I hate that shit. That's what my job did when they fired me. It's literally what my job did when they fired me. When everyone at my fucking workplace listened to music on the computer. Everyone listened to music. And they fired me for listening to music. They had zero reason to fire me. They just wanted me fired because they didn't like me. No other reason. They had zero basis to fire me, but they fired me on a technicality on the fact that you're technically not allowed to listen to music. Same fucking bullshit.
That it was constitutionally reasonable to detain and identify him,
so
even if the detention was entirely a pretext for the officers' actual stated goal of learning Mr. Newmeyer's name. On the other hand, because reasonable suspicion is required for a seizure and identification to be constitutional, if a court determined that the officers did not have reasonable suspicion to stop Mr. Newmeyer, it would also likely find that his detention and identification violated the Fourth Amendment.
Psych.
Ain't nothing wrong with me. I ain't no psych. I'm perfectly, totally sane.
Citation.
Good. I'll see all of you in court for it too, because I ain't do nothing wrong.
That's fine.
I am legally allowed to cross the street if I'm more than 150 feet from an intersection and I cross at a 90-degree angle. That is the law. You have no right.
Not with cars
coming. The only reason that you are doing this is so you can force me to give you my name.
Yep. Dude, how many fucking... There's 4 cop cars for a jaywalking situation. Like, do you guys have nothing better to do? 4. Go do your fucking job. Holy shit.
Just go ahead and issue it.
Okay. Where did he cross at?
Right at the PV.
Okay.
Just not at a 90-degree angle, or what was?
No, there was cars coming. I had to hit the brakes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And there was other cars behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy's skeptical. That guy's like, are you sure about this, man?
What are you doing for impeding traffic or jaywalking?
Jaywalking.
Because I know there's two different.
Yeah, this guy is starting to get sus, man. This guy's like, dude, I think we might be fucked, man. I don't think he actually. Oh no.
Looking it up now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It says every pedestrian crossing a roadway at any point other than a marked crosswalk or within an unmarked crosswalk at any intersection shall yield right of way to all vehicles upon roadway.
You say when he was
Uh-oh. Caught? Caught? I caught? I don't know.
He wouldn't tell us. You said something about filing a complaint, so I offered to help him with that.
Caught?
Nobody could see it, but didn't Andres?
A citizen called him.
Oh, I thought he was the fault. I thought
No,
you saw it.
no.
Oh, okay.
Who is this guy?
John Niemeyer. I've never seen him.
Do an FI card as well as the site. He's doing the site, but can you do the FI card?
So exactly what am I being detained for?
FI card.
I already told you.
You want to tell me again? For
Jaywalking.
Yeah, jaywalking. I was well over 150 feet from the closest intersection, wasn't I?
You have to yield right away to vehicles on the road.
Right away. There were no cars on the road. You were the closest car, and you were 300 yards away from me. So don't even try that.
Okay.
You know damn well this ain't gonna fly. You just wanted to force me to tell you my name. I refuse.
Yeah, I think the cop's starting to realize. I think it's starting to seep in a little bit.
ID myself down the street, and now you want to force me to tell you my name. Guess what? It don't matter. I'm gonna be out here tomorrow. I'm gonna be out here the day after. I'm gonna be out here the day after. I'm gonna be out here every day.
And the next day, 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 and the next day. He really pulled that, dude. He really pulled that. And the next day, and the next day.
Okay. I don't got a problem
I'm
with
gonna
that.
show you tyrants what's up. I didn't do a damn thing wrong, and you know it.
That's not true.
You know full well I didn't do nothing wrong. I was well over 150 feet from the intersection. I crossed at a 90-degree angle, and there was no traffic coming. You're a liar.
Says you, but that's not true.
Well,
Yeah, bro, really? Says you. Says you.
yeah, who's gonna believe me over a blue line thug gang member like you?
True.
You don't give a damn about the citizens. You're nothing but a money generator. All you do is generate funds for the city and state. You're a revenue generator. That's all you'll ever be.
Dude. Based? What?
Yeah. All right, here you go, sir. All right.
Based?
I don't need anything from you.
I explained something to
I
you.
don't
You got
need
30
anything
days
from
to
you.
either
I
pay or
don't need
contest in
anything
court.
from you. I'm protesting it. I don't need from you. All of you. You.
Get him! Get him!
After the encounter, Mr. Neumeyer challenged the pedestrian citation in court, and he reported that a judge found him guilty. However, the court records are not
What? Dude, I fucking hate this. So stupid.
publicly available online for me to confirm the resolution of his case. It is unknown whether Mr. Neumeyer appealed his conviction, filed a complaint, or pursued legal action against Sergeant Byrd and the Port Orange officers. Overall, Sergeant Byrd and the Port Orange officers get a C at best, because although they maintained calm and professional demeanors throughout the encounter, they either conducted a pretextual stop on Mr. Neumeyer in order to force him to identify himself, or lied about Mr.
Bruh, just give him an F. Give him an F. No, you're giving him too much credit, man. Being that petty that you would pull someone over for fucking jaywalking just to figure out who they are, just because the dude said fuck you, like, come on.
Mr. Neumeyer's conduct in order to justify a Fourth Amendment seizure. While Sergeant Bird's body camera footage suggests that he did not actually have to slow down to avoid hitting Mr. Neumeyer, the camera did not capture enough of the road to determine definitively whether or not Mr. Neumeyer failed to yield the right-of-way to passing traffic. However, if Sergeant Bird actually did falsify testimony in order to detain Mr. Neumeyer, well, then he and the officer certainly deserve an F. It is unclear why the officers became so concerned with identifying Mr. Neumeyer.
That's why they should have an F.
For simply filming in the area near the police department. And it raises the possibility that the officers' reaction had something to do with the fact that Mr. Neumeyer was attempting to file an officer complaint. On the whole, this encounter demonstrates the way that authority to conduct pretextual stops can allow officers to target citizens for reasons other than their stated intentions, such as obtaining an identification. Mr. Neumeyer gets an A for refusing to identify himself.
Yeah, F for factor, am I right, Chad?
When he was not legally obligated to do so, verbally challenging a potentially illegal detention while complying with the officer's orders, and fighting the charge against him the right way, in court. Throughout the encounter, Mr. Neumeyer demonstrated a solid understanding of the Fourth Amendment and Florida's pedestrian laws. He also correctly argued that he was permitted to cross mid-street when Sergeant Bird accused him of jaywalking, forcing Sergeant Bird to change his argument and claim that Mr. Neumeyer failed to yield to vehicular traffic. However, it is important to remember that because
had to fucking change it to fit
courts
stupid
determine
bitch.
reasonable suspicion on an objective basis, a court could still conclude that Sergeant Bird had reasonable suspicion to detain Mr. Neumeyer based on evidence of a failure to yield, even if that evidence did not influence his actual reasoning for the initial seizure. I cannot say for certain whether or not the stop was legally justified, but I commend Mr. Neumeyer for advocating for his rights and voicing his dissent to the officers. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic.
I salute you, King.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.